Today we're taking a closer look at and installing the Mishimoto baffled oiled catch can setup shown here in black, fitting your mid-2021 and newer 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150. Now the Mishi setup that we have here again is going to be one of the best ways in protecting your EcoBoost from sludge buildup over the years, thanks to the two separate catch cans that are included. One for your PCV system and one for your CCV system, which is very unique in the category and will offer the ultimate in protection, offer right around that mid $500 price point. All right, starting off with our list of features, and first and foremost, guys, I do want to point out the fact that you're getting not one, but two different catch cans to tap into two different systems in your F-150. The PCV, which is positive crankcase ventilation, and your CCV, which is your standard crankcase ventilation. Now, both of these systems exist to serve that same purpose, which is to regulate and remove those oily vapors and fumes produced during combustion to be rerouted back into your intake to ultimately be burned off during the next combustion cycle. The problem lies within that system and basically gums up the inside of your intake manifold and the backside of those intake valves, which can lead to valve coking over the years. Now, getting back to this system again, traditionally you'll see a catch can tap into your PCV, which is great, definitely still serves a purpose, but also tapping into your CCV, you're getting the most bang for your buck and the most protection for your truck. Now, the CCV is actually a metered air system, guys, so therefore there is a factory sensor involved, and Mishi does assure customers that their option does accommodate the stock pressure sensor and will not throw a check engine light. But again, your biggest feature here, guys, is the fact that Mishimoto is leaving no stone unturned when it comes to capturing the most junk possible before being rerouted back into your engine. All right, moving into construction, and let's start off by talking about the centerpiece here, in my opinion, and that is the twin canister design of the Mishimoto option. And you're looking at a monster 12-ounce option here, working with a smaller 3-ounce version right next to it. Now, Mishimoto states that by going with a bigger can design compared to some of the competition, it's going to lead to longer service intervals and basically more time driving, enjoying your truck, and less time doing maintenance. Now, the canisters themselves have been built using very high quality 6061 anodized aluminum, and they do also include internal baffling and a built-in check valve to help prevent any pressurization. Now, the internal aluminum filter is gonna be very, very good, very efficient here. In fact, you're gonna be capturing particles down to 40 microns in size before they collect in one of the two canisters. Now, those canisters do mount thanks to the included steel bracket here. You're looking at a 3 mil thick powder coated bracket, which will basically hang those canisters in a nice clean fashion. And then obviously you can see all of the hosing here, guys, that is included. All 1/2-inch hosing, pre-cut to length, of course, for everything, and pre-bent as well. So it's gonna look like a very, very factory-like addition under the hood. You're not gonna have a Medusa of hoses everywhere going in every which direction. No, in fact, these are gonna actually utilize factory-style connectors on the ends for, I would say, a majority of the hosing, and then whatever does not have that factory-style clip does get secured with the included whirling clamp. So again, very complete kit and a very factory style of kit once you get everything installed under the hood. All right, let's talk price point here for the Mishimoto. Certainly looking at the upper end of the pricing spectrum, coming in at or around that low to mid $500 mark. But I would argue, guys, you're getting twice the protection from this kit when compared to your more affordable options on the site from J&L or C&L, which typically just offer single-sided PCV protection. Not the case here with this kit. Again, we've already outlined the benefits and how stout the protection this will add. And it is gonna be one of those cases where you just pay for what you get, right? Because the Mishimoto option is just gonna offer you a ton more protection at the end of the day. All right, now let's segue into our installation segment for today's video here, guys. Certainly a little bit more labor intensive compared to those other more affordable options we talked about because there are more connections being made, of course. But at the end of the day, it's still very much a plug and play job. So let's call it a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour of your time to complete from start to finish. Now we're gonna throw it out to the shop for a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown. Check it out.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, clip remover tool, 15, 17, and 13/16 wrenches, 2.5 and 3 millimeter Allen wrenches, a 10 millimeter ratcheting S wrench, an extension, and 7 and 15 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing an oil catch can on our F-150, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is come to the driver's side of the engine bay. We have our crankcase ventilation tube here that we're going to have to remove. So on these clamps, we have a blue tab that you're going to pull back, and that'll allow you to pop it off. That blue tab's right here. And then same thing down on our pipe. You've just got that little blue tab. You might need to push it up a little bit to get it to clear that lip. And then you're just pulling it back, which will release the clip and let you pull it off. Now over on the passenger side of the engine bay, we have our PCV line. So once again, we've got those same kind of clips here. So just pull that tab to the right and pop your fitting off. This one's got a lot around it, so it might be a little difficult to get to. So if you pull off that side first, you can rotate it around to get access to that clip and then pop that off. So now before we do any work in the engine bay, we're going to install the fittings into our catch cans. Now the smaller fittings are going for the smaller can, bigger fittings for the bigger can. You're going to use a 17 millimeter wrench to snug up the smaller ones. You're going to need a 20 millimeter wrench for the bigger ones. Now not many people have a 20 millimeter wrench, so I'm going to be using a 13/16 instead. So now just take your fittings and thread those in. For the smaller one, take that 17 millimeter wrench, snug them up. And then thread in the fittings on the bigger catch can. And take that 20 millimeter or 13/16 wrench to tighten these down. So now we're going to start installing our hoses on the crankcase ventilation side. This first one is going to go on the valve cover. Press that down into place and then press that green locking tab in and just give it a tug and make sure it's not going anywhere. And then this one with the tip that looks like the question mark is going to go all the way down to our tube, and then you just have to press that one into place, and that's going to put that latch on just like the factory. Now on the PCV side, our two hoses are pretty similar. The big difference is the one has a 90-degree bend on the driver's side of the engine, and the other has a couple 45s. Now the one with that 90-degree bend is going to be going to our PCV valve, and the one with the two 45s is going to be going to the valve cover. So now we're going to get our hose into place. This is the one with the 90-degree bend that's going to the PCV valve. So press that down, and then we're going to have to push this green locking tab into place. And then just give it a tug and make sure it's nice and secure on there. And then we'll grab the one with the two 45s that's going to the valve cover here, the intake manifold, and just press that in place until it clicks. And just give it a good tug and make sure it's not going anywhere. Next, we can come right underneath our cowl on the driver's side. We're going to have to pop this clip for our ground wire off this stud and remove this acorn nut that's holding the terminal on. So I'm going to take a clip remover tool and pop that clip off. And then take a 15 millimeter socket for the nut. And then with our nut removed, we can remove that ground wire. So now we're going to connect the PCV side lines to our catch can. So we're going to start with the 45-degree angle ones. Slide a clamp on there. And then the ones with the 45-degree angle are going to go to the fitting labeled out on the catch can. So slide that on and wiggle it all the way. And then the one with that 90-degree is going to go towards the in fitting. So you can slide your clamp on there and connect it to your fitting. And then I'm just going to get my clamps into place and take a 7 millimeter socket and tighten them down. Before it gets super snug, just make sure it's positioned right, and then tighten it the rest of the way down. And then do the same thing for your other line. Next, we're going to install our bracket on top of our catch can. I'm probably going to block a good bit of this. So just get your 4 holes lined up and start threading in those Allen head bolts. Now take a 3mm Allen wrench and tighten down all of those bolts. And then once we have that installed, we're going to tuck that off to the side for now so we can hook up our other catch can lines, and then we'll mount that. Now next we can hook up the lines for our smaller catch can on the crankcase ventilation side. Now one thing to note is you do want to get this between your 2 hoses on the PCV side because it's going to be sitting up in there. Now this question mark shaped tube is going to be going to the out port. So I'm going to grab a clamp, slip that over, and press that onto the fitting. And then grab another clamp, put that onto your other hose, and that's going to go to the in. So just wiggle that onto the fitting until it bottoms out. And then you can slide your hose clamp into place. And then once you have it in place, take your 7mm socket and tighten it down. And this hose came off the fitting a little bit, so I'm just gonna push it the rest of the way back down. And then do the same thing on the other clamp. And now raise your catch can up and line up your 3 bolt holes, and then start threading in your Allen bolts. You can use a 2.5mm Allen wrench to get your threads started here, but get all 3 bolts in before you fully tighten them down. And then grab that 2.5mm Allen wrench and tighten all 3 down. So now this next part's going to be pretty much impossible to see on camera. We have these 2 holes that are going to go over the 2 studs. You're going to put your ground wire back onto that post, and then this hole is going to go over that stud, and then we're going to have to thread on that acorn nut on the other side. Now since there's this lip here and we're not going to be able to see it from the bottom, you're going to have to do it by feel. So get that slid on, and then take that acorn nut, get up underneath it, and thread that on. Now once you get that 15mm nut threaded on, go in there with a 15mm wrench, snug it up. So now we need to get our nut on the other stud back here. So first off, we have this plate. We're gonna slide that on first, followed by a washer, and then we're gonna get a nut on there. Slide that plate on first. You gotta kind of hold it on while you get the washer on there. And then you can grab your nut, start threading that on. Now I'm going to take this 10mm ratcheting S-wrench, get it on that nut and tighten it down. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Mishimoto baffled oil catch can in black for your mid-21 and newer 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150. Thank you for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.